All righty. Good morning, everybody. Happy May, whatever it is, May 25th. Good morning. Good morning. Memorial Day weekend. It's just so important that we all remember everybody who has fought for our country and who unfortunately, maybe they didn't make it back, or things happened or whatnot. And just remembering them and knowing what they did for us is just important and huge. And I know a lot of people have family members who never made it back. And I think about them often. I have some family members, same. And I'm just not very good with my words this morning, but I hope we all remember them. I know we're all having fun, but let's all remember them, the lost ones that we've lost. And Sharon, I like that picture you posted today of your husband. That was a cool picture. Very, very cool picture. I looked at him. I'm like, wow, look at him. He was in his younger days. Okay, that's Ileana. Good. Well, welcome to our newest members. We have Denise over here with Kathy, and they're partying on the lake on the river. And then we've got Lori from Texas. And then we've got Ileana, who's not feeling so good. She's Galaxy S8, so she's joining us today. And Shirley Santos is at the gym, and she hasn't gotten her book yet, but she wanted to jump in. So just so all the newbies know, we have people from Arizona that are in Arizona right now. We have Canada, we have Virginia, we have Texas, and then Southern California. So we got a lot of people on here today. So we're missing a few others, but we got a full house today. It's exciting. This book is really good. Would you agree? Are you guys liking it? This is a good book. I'm so glad I listened to Jeff Olson. I'm so glad he recommended it. So Kathy Preshaw suggested that we order or we go print up the workbook and then do the activity in the workbook. And I agree with that. So what I'm thinking is, let's talk about the first section today. And then if you guys you can print up the worksheet or the workbook from the website. And I think it's like 40 pages. So you can print up the workbook, and then we'll work through it with the book. So you'll go back and do this part, and then we'll do the second part. Kathy Preshaw, were you able to print it up? Did you look at it? No? Okay, her printer broke. I saw it, but I didn't print it up yet. So if you guys are all in on that, we'll do that, print it up. It's easy. It's cool too. She has a glossary back there too. I mean, it's pretty neat. And I have a funny story because right when we started this book, Robin and I watched a movie last week, and we watched Wine Country from Netflix. And I recommend everybody watch it because you will all find each one of you in that movie. They're all the women from Saturday Night Live, and each woman reminded me of somebody, and one was like a couple of us, and it was hilarious. They all go to the wine country, and they're all silliness, and they're in this restaurant, and they're like, oh my gosh, did you see who's over there at the table? Did you see who's over there? And they're like, who? Like, they're saying all these movie stars, and these are all ladies. They were there for the lady's 50th birthday. And the girl goes, no, it's Brene Brown. And they were all excited. Brene Brown was at the table next to them. And it's kind of funny because when you think about it, nowadays, all of us would probably be like, I mean, I know what she looks like, but we would probably do the same thing. And it's kind of exciting. And she came and talked, and she said to them something about vulnerability, or do you know what your boundaries are? It was just funny. So it was like, I just started reading her book, but I've heard her before. And if you are listening to Audible, I like her voice. I listened to her Audible on Power of Vulnerability. I really like her voice. I know Terry was explaining to me that the book and there's no chapters that are in the Audible. It's hard to understand. So hopefully you guys got where you're supposed to be. So let's talk about section 1. Let's talk about what we're thinking here. Courage, vulnerability. So it is in line with her other book about vulnerability, because I never really understood vulnerability until I heard her other book, and it's just I don't know how to describe it. I want to let somebody else let's see. I have a lot of highlights, but the introduction, she had a lot of things in her introduction, but I like some of the things that she said about we need braver leaders and more courageous cultures, and how she goes into how you be a leader and have that vulnerability, and how she was describing all the different leaders, and how that one guy at the end of that story just didn't get it. He's like, oh yeah, I'm in, let's go. Vulnerability. I'm in, I'm vulnerable. And it's not just that. And I'm sorry, hold on. I like that to feel is to be vulnerable. Believing that vulnerability is weakness is believing that feeling is weakness. So we're not necessarily thinking machines, but we're feeling machines that think. And the vulnerability is just the center. It's not just the center, but it's the core of all the emotions. My sister said something to me one time, when my ex-boyfriend and I broke up and I dated somebody right away. She goes, how can you just jump back into love? Or how can you just do that again? How can you be so vulnerable? And I'm like, well, why not? I'm like, it just didn't work out. I'll go to I'll just meet somebody new and I'll just, see what happens. I am still open to that. I'm never going to cut myself off from it. And she goes, but you're so vulnerable. And I'm like, yeah, why not? Like, why not? It wasn't even a question to me. Why would I not be? And and that's how it is for a lot of things I do. And I'm sure you guys too. Why would I not be vulnerable? Because like they say, it's the fear. You've got that fear, but you're still going to do it. So it's just there was a lot in this. It's just a lot to comprehend, and it's a strong book. It's a strong book. So I'm going to let you guys start talking, and then we'll all talk together like we do. So Michelle, how about you go first? No, you don't want to go first? Okay, let's see. Who wants to go first? Somebody? Don't be scared. Okay, Anne.
Let's see.
You're in. I gotcha.
Oh, okay. Here I am. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I actually did not finish reading all that we were supposed to. We had a little late night last night, and I thought I was going to get to do all my reading. And I'm out here on the patio, so I'm not waking everybody up because they're still sleeping. But something that, and I think this is in the introduction part, or I'm not sure exactly where I was when I was reading it, but something just clicked with me when she mentioned the thing about her growing resolve to go full on Tom Petty and not back down. And it's so funny because ever since I read that, I have had that song playing on a loop in my mind. And it just brings me back to all of the people that I have approached over the last several years and how you will allow them to get in and like knock you down just a little bit. And that whole line in there just kind of clicked for me. And I thought, nope, you know what? I could care less about what they think about what I'm doing for my future. And if they don't want what we have, who cares? We have so many things these days that are helping so many people in so many ways. And I'll go from one that just completely knocks you down to another. Like this week, a brand new customer of mine who is a makeup artist. And for the last 4 years, I thought she'd be a brand partner of mine and she wouldn't even try anything. And she did an impromptu sit down with me a week ago, and her skin is horrible now. She's entered menopause, and it's just like a nightmare for her. And she said, what do you have? I know you must have something. And she also is having all these internal issues. She's been told she has to be gluten-free now, and there's almost no products out there that are gluten-free and have like good ingredients. So she came to me, she bought the entire advanced skincare. And since then, she bought like 4 more products. And she's loving everything. And she's like, I've got all these referrals. And if I keep doing referrals, I'm like, yeah, if you keep doing referrals, you might want to like consider being a brand partner. And she's like, oh, I never thought about that. And, 4 years ago, this was someone who wouldn't even touch the bottle. And it's like, oh, no, that's one of those companies. So that just line just kept ringing over my head the last like 24 hours that I read it, or actually I read it, I think 2 days ago. And I thought, you know what? That's so true. Just keep moving on. Nothing is going to stop us from helping people and helping ourselves. So that's pretty much what I got.
Yeah, and then when you said that, I in the beginning of the chapter, because it says courage is contagious, she says it's having the courage to show up when you can't control the outcome. I mean, that's our business. You can't control the outcome. Yep. And then I like how one of the things she says, avoid the cheap seats feedback. Oh my God, I couldn't stop laughing at that. Get clear, opinions matter. And I love that. It's like, yeah, the cheap seats, what do you say? What's the heckler doing? You ignore the heckler, ignore that cheap seat person. And It's true. I mean, what you said about the business, you know, we do everything, and you have to just let it roll off your back. I mean, you just have to
Mm-hmm.
know that something's going to come when the timing's right, when it's coming, and you keep going. You just keep doing it.
Yep.
So you'll
Yeah, a couple years ago, I had an older actor, who told me, we were going through a bunch of stuff on the set, and it was horrible. And he came to me one day and he goes, "You just got to be like a duck." And I looked at him and I was like, "Be like a duck?" He goes, "Yeah, like, you know, a duck goes into the water, he comes out, and the water just rolls right off his back." So I always think of that, especially in this business, you know, and especially for new people that are in this business. And if you get your feelings offended right away, just be like a duck and just move on to the next one.
Yep. Right. Exactly. Exactly. And I think Robin used that analogy one time too. Didn't you use that analogy? I thought so. Um, yeah, it's true. It's true. And it's pretty crazy. I like how when she talks about like literally it's about rumbling. And I like how she says about the rumbling, like when you're ready, you have to go do what you got to do when you're a leader and you have the people you're going to talk to. You get ready for rumble. You get ready to rumble. You get ready for that battle, and you don't know what's going to happen. And you will have those leaders that you have that become leaders in your organization that maybe they don't see it. They don't see what you see. And part of that is the leader of, like, the question, what does support look for you from me? And asking that question is going to be interesting when you guys start building a team, when you ask that question, because half the time they don't know what support looks like, because they're all new into this organization and they're not used to that, because there's not support in other places. So that was something she said too, is to ask those questions so that you are on that comfortable level with them, but it's that vulnerable level. Did I make sense? Did I ramble? Or did it make sense? Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So anybody else? Thank you, Anne.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Who's next? Kathy Preshaw? Okay. Go ahead.
Did you unmute me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just now when you were, I mean, I literally had my highlighter out the whole time and was highlighting so much in this book that it was unbelievable. I mean, it's like I haven't listened to the Audible yet, except the very beginning. And it feels to me like it's a book that you're going to want to go back and revisit and listen to, like when you're driving and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When you were talking about the Rumble, she talks about, you know, having conversations, and not necessarily comfortable conversations, but necessary conversations. And I feel like for the most part, I'm pretty vulnerable. However, I don't like confrontation. But it's necessary, you know, and it can be done in the right way, as long as you come at it in a vulnerable position.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've got out of it. I mean, I kept driving, so I can't look at everything I highlighted. But yeah, so far this is amazing, this book.
Yeah. And I agree. And you know what, when I was reading it and I was like seeing all of this, how cool is it that our CEO and founder got so much value from this book, which means that he got the value because he wants to become a better leader for us. And that's what I mean, when he stood up there and talked about this book, I was like, this is our next book, because he's telling us to read it. And then Amber Olson read it. And I'm like, we just have to read it, because if they're becoming better leaders for us, we need to become better leaders for them and for the rest of the people that we have in this business. So it's very cool to see that. So thanks, Kathy. Yeah, be safe. You're either in the car or you have a dog on your lap. She always has her dog on her lap. It's for the new people. Her dog likes to get into the Zoom. All right. Who's next? Who wants to share next? Michelle, are you ready? Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay. The book is fabulous. Again, it challenges us, like other books have done, to really look at where we're at and what we're doing. I know I still, right at the moment, I have a lady with a spa who I keep going back to, and she's used to me going back. Now she wants to carry the sunscreen in her spa. but she doesn't want to become a partner, so I have to bring my third party in, etc. But it's my chicken factor. So I'm preparing the package to give to her. And I'm thinking, I don't want to do that. She isn't going to want to do what she needs to do in the business. But I'm thinking, okay, just do it, damn it. Get over your fear. What's the worst she can do is say no. And then I'll show up in a few months again and we'll talk again, because she's just expects me to show up. And I know, anyway, like I said, I've talked about it before, and then I have another fellow who is supposedly joining, but having trouble with his credit card. But no, I have no control over that. So when he joins, he joins. Mm-hmm. And you do what you can do. It's just been a few fear factors. And like it says, most important, I think, is what we've always, is surround yourself with the right people, and let the people that are in the audience that are naysayers. And I talked to my brother yesterday and he says, I'm so sorry, Michelle, I unfriended you. It's my brother. I said, you what? He says, well, you're talking about your Neora a lot. I said, well, we have new exciting products. He said, yes, but I unfriended you. I said, you don't have that many friends. You have to refriend me. So that was just sort of a thing. Okay, maybe I have to, maybe not. You try not to post too much, but it's also exciting. Mm-hmm. And I met up with a customer yesterday and offered her, she's been a customer for 2 years, and now we're talking about the opportunity. So that's exciting.
That's great. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you have to have that balance.
Yeah.
You have to have that balance, and it's supposed to be 80% lifestyle, 20% Neora. So try to go back to your feed, look at yourself today, look at your feed today and see if it's 80% lifestyle, 20% Neora. Because I used to be the other way around. I used to be 80% Neora, 20% lifestyle. And I did a complete turnaround where I talk more lifestyle and less Neora.
It's hard though, because your lifestyle, when you're getting your business going, is Neora.
Right.
And your customers and your friends, it's hard. So
yes, you're right. And that was what was challenging for me in the beginning. But my lifestyle is, yes, Neora. So when you look at my post, when I do my happy hours or when I do my RRPs, I never say I'm sharing Neora. I always say it's so much fun sharing with my friends, hanging out with my friends. Yeah. We had so much fun laughing, playing darts. And I show the pictures, but I don't talk Neora. I talk about lifestyle.
Yeah. I yesterday when I was with my one customer in the city, because I live outside of town, outside the city, she said, I see all your postings for your wine and cheeses. She says, I want to come, but I can't drive home if she has a couple of glasses of wine. I said, we have no problem. I have beds. So now with my wine and cheese, I have to say, even though I don't live in the city, I have beds available. So my husband wonders what I'm starting. We have a flop house going on. My parties will go on for a little bit, apparently. So that's all. So you have to think outside the box.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And, your fears, so, yeah.
Right. Yep. And then along the lines about with you and Ann said, I had my coaching call with Linda Lindsay for the Focus 20 group, and we were talking, and I've done this before with her, so it's a little less intense of a conversation in the beginning, but I told her I had like an aha moment in where I'm at in my business and where I'm at as my growth and my personal development, because I have had 8 RRPs this month, either physical or Zoom. I've had 8. I've had people at almost all of them. I have not had one new customer or one new brand partner this month. And I told her, a year ago, 2 years ago, I would have been like, what is going on? What's happening? Why is da-da-da-da-da-da? But I have not been attached to the outcome because I've seen the outcome come later.
And that's the problem. I'm hitting director regularly, but I'm not happy. Like, why aren't I at the next level? So you really have to get beyond that, don't you?
Well, you have to, and that's that personal growth. You have to have that patience with it. Are you kidding? Yeah. I've had Monique NMD Lopez on my Facebook for I don't know how many years, and I'm not there yet, but that's okay, because guess what? I'm not supposed to be there yet. I still have to grow to be there. I know I still have growth.
I thought those were your middle initials. I was trying to figure out what the hell your name was.
I know. I did it like 4 years ago, so it was a long time ago. I'm not changing it now. But
Okay. Yeah.
But anyways,
Okay.
it's just a matter of us being patient with ourselves and understanding, like she said, you can't control the other part of it. You can't control that. All you can do is control what you're doing. You do the activity, things will come, people will see, things will happen, and we all live in faith with that. And that's why having this group together is so important, because we live in faith with that, and each other helps we all help each other understand that, and guidance and whatnot. And so it's challenging. This is not for the faint at heart, this business, not at all. And that's why people quit. That's why people quit. And that's why we're not going to ever quit, because all of us have each other to say, hey, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. I mean, look, you can listen to Jeff Olson's story. He was not successful when he started all the stuff he did. He wasn't the success overnight. It took years and years and years. Look at any of the top leaders. Listen to their stories. Steve Lee, Linda Lindsay, Vicky. I mean, they were not successful overnight. It took time, and that's fine with me, because we're building a sustainable business. That's the other part. You're a director. Okay, you've been a director. Guess what? Not many people who joined Neora or Nerium before could say that they had that sustainability in their business, that consistency in their business, because guess what? They quit. So they didn't get that consistency. They didn't get the chance to say, I'm a director again. I'm a director again. I'm a director again. They didn't get that chance. And because you're doing that, you're on the right path. You're on that slide edge path to what is going to happen. You just don't know when it's going to happen. And that's where we live in that faith.
One of my brand partners said to me, we talk about, going forward. One of my brand partners said to me, well, you're so bold, Michelle. I don't think I can be that bold. And so, you don't have to be that bold. You have to share the product. Right. And, it's sort of, it works against you sometimes that you're going out there and anyway, that's all I have to say.
No problem. I got you. No, but you know what, Michelle, what it is that they're trying to be you and they're not you. And that's when you work with them to find out. That's where in this book, you ask them, how can I support you? Because you have to help them be them in their business. They have to be their authentic self in the business. Yeah. They can't try to be you. And that's something that you'll have to work with them on, because that's their personal growth. Because I had the same thing happen when I started. Well, I can't be you, Monique. You just go out and talk in front of people. Monique, you can just go on, up front and talk to everybody. Or you can just, you have no fear. You can do. I'm like, you do understand how much I sweat before I get up there and talk, or when I do a Zoom, or do you understand? I told you
guys this week I had somebody above pass me on the PCs for the week, and I was so upset. Then I realized it was one of my brand partners, and I thought,
uh-oh, she's freezing. And then, you froze.
You had a good week. Yeah.
There you are. Yeah, you did. And those are the wins you want. Those are the wins that will, those wins will help you is becoming a leader. Those wins will help you.
And this book, I hope. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Thank you, Michelle. All right. And who's next? Sharon, how about you, Sharon? Got you.
Okay. So, this is a good book. I, this time, decided to get the Kindle with the audio, and so I can read it as she's talking, and she, when she's talking, she ad-libs a bunch of stuff that's not in the book, which I really appreciate. It's kind of nice. But the part where she says, get clear on whose opinion matters, because we tend to expect everybody to like what we say, or everybody, enjoy what we have to say. And yet we know deep down inside that that's not the case. Not everybody can like you. Not everybody is alike. And that's the problem. I think I know myself, and I'm sure there's other people too, who want to be friends with everybody. You want everybody to like you. And, that I learned in real estate that you can't. Somebody might like me for who I am because I'm honest, and yet some people want more assertive person than me. So to sit down and write and set on what little piece of paper, all the names of the people, whose opinion does matter.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. I mean, because you don't want everybody, who's the ones that are really important. And that was like a eye-opening moment. It was like, oh my gosh, And I remember in real estate, people told me before, Sharon, be like a turtle. Somebody says something to you, let the water roll off of your back. That's what a turtle does. So like Michelle, I have these little sayings that I kind of go back to. And yeah, you don't want to post everything about what it is that you do every single day. I have unfriended, but not unfriend. I have done the hide their remarks on real estate agents who do nothing but talk about how great they are in real estate and nothing about who they are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I like them as a person, but now I'm getting irritated with all their postings because now my friends are seeing their postings and it's like, hey, so I hide them. I don't unfriend them, but I hide them. And so I'm realizing little by little that, I have to respect who I am, like who I am, and the people who like me for who I am. And like, Renee says, whose opinions really matters, and
Mm-hmm.
just live that. So that's my 2 cents worth.
No, it's good. I agree, Sharon. And you're right. I did laugh with that little paper, of who opinion matters. I don't even know if I have a name to put on there. I mean, because I don't really, like, I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't know who I don't know. I have to think about, I have to sit there and think about it because I'm who I am. Like, I'm just, and I appreciate feedback and I learn from my mentors and I appreciate feedback, but does opinion matter? People's opinions of me, I just don't take that, it doesn't, I don't know what it is. I don't have that. I don't take the opinions to heart, sort of say, like you said, I let it roll off my back. But no, Sharon, I hear you about all of that. I mean, it's it's a growth process for all of us. It's a growth process. And you're figuring it out. And that's the thing, is that we're all figuring it out together. When we read these books, we're figuring out new things about ourselves, which in turn is going to help us with the people we bring in or the people we come in contact with all the time. So thanks for sharing there. Kathy and Denise, are you there? Kathy and Denise? I wanted to do this real quick. Denise, I'm going to go to you, Denise, and then Lori, and then Ileana, if you want to say anything. Just kind of share why you decided to join the group. I know it's in the middle of this part, but I meant to do that in the beginning. Why you joined the group, and how long you've been in Neora, and what you want to get out of it. I'm just breaking it up because I meant to do that earlier. Sorry. Go ahead, Denise.
Morning.
Morning.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
So I've been in Neora since March of 2015. And so during that whole time I was able to acquire a lot of customers, but only one brand partner. And I had a lot of issues with, everybody saying no, your family not being on board. My regular job, my 8 to 5 job changed, lots of new responsibilities and a lot of stuff going on there. So I got buried in that, but I never stopped being a BP. But I did stop actively recruiting and getting customers, but I had a lot of customers. So I was still making a little bit of money. And then Kathy was always dribbling on me and just keeping me kind of in the know. But I've always loved Jeff and the personal development. And we also started these leadership classes at the office. And he also recommended us watching Brené Brown on Netflix. And he encourages us to dig deep. And we have core words. And so he's trying to build that culture where we can all be vulnerable, have those open conversations, resolve any issues, and encourage others to lean on us and to look to us for leadership. So we're in the process of working on that. So to come back in right now is perfect timing. And between his classes and just the company Neora as a whole, it's just a great personal development. I've been working on that for a while. And so I feel a lot better about when people say no, it's okay. You know, I'm okay with that. And just, it's time, you know, just move on. There's a lot of other people who are out there who will say yes. So I'm just really looking forward to getting back into building that team and to be a better version of myself.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. And if you guys don't know, Denise is Kathy's sister-in-law. So that's how she came into play. So awesome. Thank you so much, Denise. And now that you're both there, talk to us about the vulnerability part, about the book. Where's Kathy? She's put her head out. It's funny. So where are you?
I'm hiding.
You're hiding. No need to hide.
Good morning.
We know you're there.
I got my morning here.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, there was a couple of things that I was reading. This part, it says pretending that we don't do vulnerability means, and sorry for all the background noise. I've got 3 dogs here and a puppy that's driving us crazy.
I just shut the door.
It says pretending that we don't do vulnerability means letting fear drive our thinking and behavior without our input or even awareness, which most always leads to acting out or shutting down. That's where I was, and not too long ago. That's where I was. I was shutting down for fear of presenting to people because I thought that they were not going to like me or for whatever reason. And I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that part of it. But I'm finding that, like Denise was just saying, and many of us here have said, it's that we're getting to that point where we don't care anymore. We're just going to bring it up, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and if people want it, they want it. If they don't, they don't. And then this other part, I like this part here, where she says, if you're going to dare greatly, you're going to get your ass kicked at some point. If you choose courage, you will absolutely know failure, disappointment, setback, and even heartbreak. That's why we call it courage. That's why it's so rare. And I think that's where I'm getting to be. I'm going in that direction. And I think because all of us here, I think are getting there. And I love that part of it because it's that courage that I was lacking. And so I feel like now I'm working at it better. People are reaching out to me now, Monique. You know how you said before that nothing was happening, and then now people are starting to respond to me and asking me about it. And so I've got a few good prospects now that I wouldn't have had I not taken that little step that I'm in right now. So I'm happy.
It's all those
You know,
Facebook
it's a
Live.
long process. You're right.
Yeah.
It's a terribly long process.
It's all those Facebook Lives.
Yeah, right.
We started
That's
doing.
one thing I got to learn how to do.
I know. You know, who knows? You know, man, that Disneyland trip was funny, man. We got out of the garage and it just started pouring down rain on us.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had to go buy some Beauty and the Beast socks because my feet were all wet. Anyway, so that's my.
Well, that's great. That's
thing.
great. You know, and that's what we're doing as a group is we're with these books, and this is just my feeling on it. With these books, it's helping us with that armor. Do you know what I mean? It's that armor for battle, so to say, but it's the armor that for the business to not let people's opinions matter, not let people take us out of the business. Because like Bo said, you don't want everybody in the business. You don't want everybody as a customer. So you're building that battle around, you know, you're building that little shield around you for those people to not want to do it. Because trust me, there's some that you don't want. Like I fought hard to get some people in the business, and I think about it later, like, oh, what did I do? Why are they in the business? And you just you don't. So Denise, did you
Yeah.
have anything to add about
Yeah, I
the?
had one brand partner.
Oh, go ahead.
Just to change my way of thinking, and it's okay, it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's definitely not a weakness, because that's how you learn. You learn from your experience, and just changing my way of thinking. Like when you and I talked, and I was telling you how I was terrible at getting brand partners, but I was good at customers, and not to look at it that way. It's, if you want to define your new future, then that's what you focus on, all the things that you want as opposed to all the things you don't want. And so I'm really working hard on that. And so it's the book just really resonates, and it really makes you think and dig deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to more of that development. So
right. And like Kathy Prushaw said, it's definitely a book we're going to have to probably go back to and want to read again, because it's so intense that you're going to miss some of it. So, well, thanks, ladies. Thank you.
And there's
yes.
Okay.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've watched a couple of her, Brene's shows on YouTube, on TED Talk, and she does the vulnerability and the courage. And so if you don't see it on Netflix, I encourage you to see it on YouTube. It's good to watch, to listen to her.
Yeah, I agree. I do want to watch that Netflix one of her, but yeah, I would totally encourage people to find her on YouTube and find her on everything and listen to her, because she's pretty cool. Like I heard of her like 4 years ago, and now she's just everywhere, but she's pretty amazing. So yes, I agree. Thank you, Denise.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we had a little delay there. Okay, so Lori, your turn. Not Lori, my sister, other Lori Bigham. I'll let you go. See, I think, let's see, unmute. Go ahead. You have to unmute yourself, I think, because you muted yourself. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Welcome. So share with us.
Thank you.
Because nobody knows who you are.
Where did you come from? I met Monique in, I almost said Las Vegas, in Nashville. And it's funny, I'd actually been following Monique on Facebook. So, there've been a lot of changes. I started with Miriam 4 years ago, or 4.5 years ago. And since then, there've been a lot of changes. And when there are a lot of changes in our area, I started looking for someone on Facebook who was still in the game and still positive, and I found Monique. So I've been following her and, commented here and there on some of her Facebook posts about her dogs. That resonated with me, talking about lifestyle and getting to know people. We have dogs, and so it was a total God thing, because we were next door neighbors in Nashville, and I saw her out on her balcony. We had a balcony next door, and I was like, "Hey, are you Monique?" Like, because I've seen her, on Facebook, and she's like, "Yeah," like, who wants to know what's going on? And so anyway, we had this great conversation, and they were doing their Facebook lives, and I had already decided I wasn't going to do it. Like, it was just so far outside of my comfort zone. And so they're like, "Come over here." It was Monique and Robin and Lori and Sharon and Terry. And I think that was, all gathered in the room. Come on, we're going to support you. You can do this. And so they encouraged me. No, it was total encouragement to do my Facebook Live, and they totally supported me. And so I did the first one, and I've done one every day since then. And so I so appreciate that encouragement to get outside your comfort zone and grow. And talking about vulnerability, like just being on here this morning, I'm so tired. I put on eye masks, the eye patches yesterday, and I still look tired. And so I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. I just need to be a part of this group and learn from you all, and have a group of like-minded people who are wanting to grow themselves, be the best version of themselves, and grow their business. And so that's how I got connected. So neighboring balconies, but it really goes back to Monique and her leadership and her positivity that, I sought out on Facebook when I didn't have that in my community, in my Neora community at the time. So, so I'm so excited to be here with you guys, and so appreciate what you've shared this morning. And I'm loving this book and totally agree. There's so much, like I'll have to go back. And in fact, there's parts of it that I've written like question mark, like I should probably get this, but I don't right now. And maybe it'll come later as I build my knowledge and understanding of it. But I'm a recovering perfectionist. And that's one of the things that, that in here in the book where she talks about people are afraid of being put down or ridiculed for trying something and failing. And that's been me for a long time. And thankfully through personal development, I've grown through that and I'm still working on it. But it says perfectionism and fear are keeping people from learning and growing. And so I don't want that to be me. I want to learn and grow. And I've realized I can't be perfect all the time, or sometimes not even most of the time or part of the time. And it doesn't matter. You just have to keep failing forward, right? I've heard so many Neora leaders say that. And so that's what I'm embracing. And even this month, I've had some, with the firm and how it got back ordered and all of that, I've messed up on some of my customers. And I'm like, okay, so instead of beating myself up, I'm like, how am I going to learn from this? So how am I going to take this and build going forward? And so I so appreciate a group where you can be vulnerable and get ideas and, where you don't have to be perfect or put on this, everything's great and I've got it all going on, because I don't. So I just thank you for welcoming me and letting me be a part. I appreciate it. And thank you, Monique, for your authentic leadership that you've demonstrated for years and you didn't even know who was watching.
I didn't. Thank you. I appreciate that. Lori, it's so funny because I'm listening to you. I love the thing that I love how you said about the question mark. You're putting question marks because you don't get it, but you're going to go back because you probably just don't get it yet. And I think that's great. That's super vulnerable because most people just read it and they're, I didn't get it. And they just keep going. But for you to take that time to recognize that, that's huge for you. I mean, I love that because there were a couple things I wasn't sure about, but I didn't put a question mark. I just read through it. I'm like, I'll read it again. But I like that. I love that. I love that. And, you solidified just something for me when I saw you on the balcony and I like walked away and I kind of like had to talk to myself. And I was like, you really made me feel so great. And I just do what I do to do. And so when you reached out to me and said I was inspiring you for the past few years and I had no idea who you were, and it warmed my heart because I was like, I knew I was here for a purpose. I knew there was something. But, sometimes we doubt ourselves even if we're doing what we're doing. So I appreciate you. You're right. It was a God thing. It was meant for us to meet. It was meant for us to see each other on that balcony, and you scared me because you're like, are you Monique Lopez? I'm like, yeah, why would I do? Oh, I was
NMD Lopez.
Yeah, NMD Lopez. Oh, it was so funny. But everything happens for a reason. And I appreciate you being here because I know I love this group because everybody has a different input. Everybody has something different going on. And when you talk about the perfectionism, you're right. People do try to be perfect. And that's why when you send us a message I don't know what to do my live about now. I don't know what to do my live about now. And you're like, I don't know what to do. We're like, what do you like to do? Oh, I like to do this. Okay, then do a live about that. You're like, how easy is that? Because that perfectionism for yourself, you want the videos and you want those lives to be perfect, but it does go back to that authentic self. And I can say that the beginning of my personal development journey was like 8 years ago when I had lost my job. I had gotten hurt. I couldn't get another job. It was like crazy. And my neighbors paid for me to go do the Landmark Forum. And I don't know if anybody's heard of Landmark Forum. I went into the Landmark Forum for an entire weekend. And that entire weekend, all they talked about was for us to figure out our authentic self and being our authentic self. And that was the start to my personal development. we have to be us. We just have to be us. And what's going to happen is, what I've noticed is when you start that journey of being comfortable and realizing who your authentic self is, and people in the world, your friends and family, know who you are there. But once you start reading books and your authentic self starts growing, that's what scares them. And Jeff and Bo, they all talk about that. And then that scares them, because guess what? You're not who they thought you were, because you're becoming that better version of yourself. And people don't do that. You're continuing to stay your authentic self at a higher level, and you're becoming better. And that's what I know has happened for me. And that's what's happening for all of us. And so whenever you're doing stuff, no matter what it is, it's a Facebook Live, it's, a coaching call, it's, talking out there to people, you just be you, because you're going to attract the people who want to be with you. Because again, like we read it in our books before, it's about you. You're selling you. You're the person they want to be in the business with. So remember that part. So thank you, Lori, very much for just being a part of this. And we're excited to have you too. So if we ever need any help in Texas, we got her in Texas.
That's right.
Be careful with those tornadoes too, because I saw that one video of yours. Yeah, careful with it. Hi.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. So I'm going to just move down the row to Robin. You're next, Robin, on my little screen. If you're there. She's there somewhere, maybe. There you go.
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, so for me, I didn't get to finish my reading because I had all of a sudden funeral yesterday. I was on my way home to finish. But what I like about this book is the way she puts things. The way people put words together mean different things. And I'm mostly done, but I do have something to say about driving with my mother. I am usually very stressed out when my mother is driving because, it's my mom. So yesterday, we're driving and someone is driving down the shoulder and cutting people off. And she looks over at me and I look over at her and I go, what? She goes, you're not going to cuss him out? I'm like, yeah, no, that's going to take too much energy. And evidently he's special and in a rush. It's not worth my time. And her head snapped back over at me and then back into traffic. And she goes, wow, personal development, huh? Because I normally go off on people like that.
Yeah.
But I've been doing it less and less. It's getting better.
Good.
So that's the one thing she did notice.
Nice.
So I will be finishing my reading.
Okay. Yes, I've noticed that too. It's true. Your quick flip isn't happening. So it's definitely that personal development. So awesome job for you, Robin. I'm glad that happened. Okay, my sister Lori, I know you're driving. I'll unmute you. Are you ready, my sister Lori?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, yes, I just got off the freeway, so that's good. So I want to say that, I want to start off by saying that I'm a recovered skincare snob and a continuous recovered perfectionist individual as well, Lori. So I understand what you mean. And for me, and I think I was listening to most of the comments, and I really need to say that everybody's comments about this book reflects exactly where their mindset is and what they're going through, and that's how it's resonated for them and their message. Mm-hmm. And I say that because last week I shared through a lot of vulnerability what I'm going through with my job, and this book, I listened to the sections twice so that it could resonate with me, Kathy Prishaw, because I really wanted a big takeaway today, because this week was a different week in my job. One one of the things that really resonated with me when she was getting ready to speak to the audience, that was the book Brooks Brothers Men, and they looked very stiff and very unapproachable, and she was Googling words that were going to resonate with them, and how could she grasp her audience with what she wanted to share and still being vulnerable. And I feel that sometimes I want to address my audience with not only my business, but with my colleagues at work, or with the pieces that I'm writing, and how do I relate to them, or how do I relate to our leaders that are leading this organization that I'm working for, or how do I relate to the person that's looking for a solution and they don't know yet that they're looking for a solution. I'm there to give it to them through Facebook Lives or through sharing. And what I really realized in her book, and it resonated, and I looked at my notes again, is people, people, people. And I'm like, wait a minute. It's about people, Lori. It's about where can I meet that person? It's people. That CEO that I work for that I don't always agree with, she puts on her underwear the same way you do. Your boss that might change her mind off and on, she's just a person. So if you can think about people who are, that was what was so big for me. And the whole thing about leadership through courage, perfectionism and fear gets in our way. And personally, you guys, I want to understand where perfectionism comes from. And she mentions a little bit about, because you don't want to be wrong, because you want to do it right the first time. And you could ask Monique, God, I always want to do it right the first time. I mean, I'll do my research. And I think Lori, the other Lori, likes to do her research also. Like, people that are real cerebral and are real analytical and want to organize stuff, that's who I am, organize information. I want it to come out right the first time, because I don't like to work hard. I like to work smart. But honestly, going back to people, that means us, that means who we are, where we're sitting, and who we're talking to. And we are all building a brand. Because I do go back and watch my Facebook Lives. I do go back because I like to see what messaging I'm projecting out there and what brand I'm projecting. And my best Facebook Lives are when I'm the most tired, because everything is down and I'm extremely vulnerable. And my messaging is very effective. Mm-hmm. I could see it. And I know, and here's the thing, you guys, I want to say this, because Monique said it earlier, that Lori solidified Monique's whole efforts of what she was meant to be on this planet for. And it's because we're walking in faith, and faith is evidence not seen, but believing in. And when we continue to, we're working and we're building our brand and we're reaching out and people are telling us no, we have to walk in the place that right person is going to say yes. And just in closing, I mean, I always try in my mind to be organized in my thought process of what I want to share. These last 3 women that I've met, Cole Market, they all look similar. Their faces all look similar, and they're all very similar. They're all evolving, personal developed individuals. And all I can say is that must be who I am, because that's who I'm attracting. And I am inspired to lead through courage. I'm inspired to address why shame crosses my path sometimes, and that has to do with me not feeling like I'm enough, but I am enough. So I have to just remind myself of that. And I appreciate all of you believing in me, and that's why I tap into these Zooms. And I will tell you that I had to work late the other night, and I was at the Metro building, and this woman was standing against the wall holding the book we're reading. And I went up to her and I said, "How do you like the book?" And she goes, "Wow, it's amazing." And I said, "What's your name?" "My name's Lori." I go, "Oh, okay. Hi, Lori. I'm Lori too. That's my nickname, Lori. And who do you work for?" "I work for Metro." I said, "Oh, okay. What are you doing here?" She goes, "I'm waiting for my husband to get off work." I go, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to have this public hearing right now. And so what do you do at Metro?" And she said, I'm a recruiter. I'm in human resources. I said, really? And how do you like it? She goes, well, I don't know. I like this book, but sometimes it's a conflict of my mindset. I want to do entrepreneurial stuff, and I'm working for government. I go, isn't that the truth? I said, we need to have coffee, because not only are you a recruiter, and it's something that I want to talk to you about, because I am seriously looking at other opportunities myself. I said, but I want to talk to you about the book. How about you and I just share about the book? Because you know what? Vulnerability is our key to moving forward. She goes, no kidding. So I had to share that with you, because the gods work in funny ways, and that maybe she will be one to coach me into something of a higher leadership position as I put my end game plan together on retirement and continue to tap into this beautiful culture of New York. So thanks for letting me share, Monique, today.
You're welcome. And it's so funny. So because she's my sister, when I was reading the book, when I saw people, I was like, Lori, she's got to get this. And that was the first thing she said. And I was like, yes, because I am that outside perspective. We all see ourselves, but then we're the outside perspective. And I've told my sister for a while, like, don't read the leadership books. Read how to become a better leadership person, not how to be the strong leader, because she is that. And I encourage her to read the introspective books, because yes, she is a strong person, an analytical person, a perfectionist, and that's just who she is. And she doesn't have to change who she is, but I know that I've seen her evolve into who she's becoming. And she's my older sister, but I know that she's becoming this better version of herself, and she doesn't even recognize it. So she muted herself and took herself off. But I'm proud of you, Lori, because I see this growth that's happening, and I know that it's tough. I know that it's hard to and probably for the other Lori too, because you guys are perfectionists. Sometimes it's hard to be like, wait a minute, I'm changing a little. Wait a minute, I don't have to be so perfectiony. This doesn't feel right. But it's that vulnerability to allow that to happen.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I took myself on mute is because there's cops all over, and I got a speeding ticket this morning. And I think the speeding ticket was actually a blessing, because I was multitasking in the car, going too fast with my dog. And you know what? He may have saved my life. So that's why I had to unmute. But and I was trying to turn off.
Safety first, Lori. Safety first.
Oh, I know, and I know better. And so that was really, really quite upsetting to me. But at the same time, it was definitely a blessing that he saved my life. And I was listening to Brene Brown, and I was trying to turn off the damn Audible so that when he came in, he didn't give me a double ticket that I was on the phone. And I was like, what am I going to do? But anyhow, he kind of, he gave me a forgivable ticket that I can go to traffic school and it'll go away. He's not going to ticket me at 96 miles an hour that I was going. He's going to ticket me at 80. And I'm like, you know what, sir, please forgive me on this, but it's my bad. Thank you for slowing me down. But he still gave me a ticket. But anyways, there's cops all over. So that's why I'm trying to figure out how to do this. So being vulnerable and shameless today.
Wow, I'm going to put that in our family feed. Lori was going 96 miles an hour.
No, do not do that. Do not do that, because that's a bad example of being safety.
I'm just kidding, Lori. I'm just kidding.
I have many errands to run today, but it isn't at the expense of the death of Charlotte and I in the car. So
I know. I'm just kidding, Lori. Just be safe. Safety first. Oh gosh, I love messing with her. Like when I say things like that, that just makes me laugh even more. I'm going to tell my brother. I'm going to tell him. Oh gosh, I'm just messing with you, Lori. Okay, so Terry, how about you, Terry? Terry.
Well, I listened to the whole section, and I started listening to it again. And I have to say that I think I really need I love having the Audible, but not having the book. I have to really rack my brain and remember everything that I listened to, and I need to actually be highlighting and taking notes. So I'm not gonna go on and on about the book. I mean, this has been like the longest Focus 20 I think we've ever done. It's been an hour already, so I don't want to just babble. But the book is really good, and I have to say that I got some things happening in my other business that this type of personal development is really helping me, because it pops up in my brain as I'm walking down the street. It just resonates with me all day long. So I appreciate the opportunity to listen to everybody's comments this morning. And basically, I'll say this: what she said. That's what I have to say. What she said, because you guys all touched on it. So, anyways, that's it for me.
Okay. And and the other thing is, if anybody ever has to go, because we are going long, I mean, we have 4 new people, so that's why we're going a little longer. If anybody ever has to go, just tell me you have to go. We'll take our picture and you can go. And because it is recorded, but sometimes it will be a little longer. Sometimes it'll be a little shorter. So I think whatever the time frame we do it is what is meant we need to do. It's something in my mind that I think that if we're going to be here, we're here because we need to hear it, or we need to be here. So if you ever need to go, just go, not a problem. Okay, Solange, how about you, my friend?
I can't see you guys.
Solange. Okay, maybe not Solange. There she is.
No, I just walked into the doctor's office, so.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to comment later.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, though.
Okay, don't hang up, though. We'll take a picture. Let's just do the picture real quick, in case, because I know she's got to, she's going to be there. Okay, everybody is on. I can see. Hold on. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right, ready? Let's see, everybody there. There we go. And Michelle, hold on, Becky, 1 second. Okay.
Oh, no,
ready?
no, I can't see you guys.
Okay, hold on. Smile. All right. I know we can see you. You have your stock picture, Becky. We see that. So let's see. Hold on. Ileana, I know you're sick, but did you want to share anything, Ileana?
Good morning, everybody. Sorry, just a rough night.
Oh.
Well, no, I mean, my girlfriend just called me. We went out to eat, and she's like, "Are you sick?" I'm like, "I'm sick. I've been sick since like 7:30 last night. So maybe what we ate, it was yummy, but something happened." Anyways, I'm super grateful to be a part of this group. I've been here with Neora for 4 years, and I said yes to this group, and I'm getting a lot more than what I actually thought I was going to get. First I thought I was just going to be kind of dissecting that book together, and which, I'm sure that's what it is too, but it's obviously, we are going to be picking books or reading books that we're meant to be reading, and they're going to help us along where we are in our journey of life and in our business. Mm-hmm. But this book is deep. I mean, that whole word vulnerability, I'm the oldest child of 3, and for some reason, I don't know where it comes from, but being vulnerable, I've always kind of thought of it as a sign of weakness. Mm-hmm. So it's, I'm having to put like question marks on a lot of those pages and having to just go back to it. But I'm excited. I am also a perfectionist, and I'm learning that, that's not important, that those are just things that I put on myself and nobody else knows and nobody else cares. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm just excited to where I am just in life. Everything that happens, everything that I'm learning, everything that this business has done has just been, it's a gift, and I treasure everything, and definitely working on being my better self, so then I can impact, everybody around me. So I don't have the book next to me, but just definitely, I mean, what I'm getting so far is just that when you want to be connecting with people, you have to, obviously each conversation, everything is a little bit differently, but when you do share and let them in, that it's okay, that you're meant to have that conversation. So whatever you do share, it's not a bad thing, it's not a weakness. And I always find that those deep conversations, sometimes you think that you're helping somebody, but really that person is truly helping you. So, and I think that this is what this group is also going to do for me. So thank you, Monique, for inviting me. I have fun with you ladies. It definitely gets me out of my little comfort zone of being here at home and going to those happy hours and having fun. So I appreciate you all.
Oh, you're welcome. And Ileana, I know, it's interesting what you said, because people think, oh yeah, they're just talking about the book, but it's bigger than that. This group is bigger than that. And this group is exactly what Jeff Olson talks about creating. He talks about creating that Focus 20 group that are the leaders that are growing, that are developing, because those leaders are going to build the business, and those leaders are going to take this company to the next level. And so when I was able to go to that NMD summit, that was what he stood up there and said. And I'm listening and I'm like, that's our group. That's our group. And then Linda Lindsay came up to me and she goes, girl, she's like, see, you listen to what, you learn from being in the group with me, learn from your mentors, and you're already doing it. She said, so you've got to know that group is going to just get bigger and bigger, but then our group will get bigger and bigger. And then each of us, when our teams get bigger, we're going to have this kind of group for our groups. You know what I mean? And you'll all have your own Zooms with your people. And imagine that, though. Imagine all of that starting to happen, how strong and how not bonded, but how like the company is just going to become. Do you see? I'm trying to, like, it's that he calls it amoeba. It's like this amoeba, and it's going to be like this growth of connection to each other. So we have 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We had 15 people on here. 15 people doing groups of 15, and then those in continuing out, and that's what he's building. And it starts with us. So I'm proud of you guys. So thank you, Ileana, for being a part of this. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And just so you know, like, I'm so proud of you guys for taking the time to make this important in your life and to do this, because I'm seeing the growth in everybody, including myself, and it is absolutely incredible. We do have, let me see if Becky's there. She's brand new into our group too, but let me see if she's available to share real quick, because we do have to go. Becky, are you there? And if she just jumped on at the end too. Let's see. All right, I don't know if she's there. Okay. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for all of the sharing. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and then everybody can say goodbye.